cognitive load theory suggests our working memory has limited capacity. Dr. Smith, could you explain how this impacts learning efficiency?
Certainly, imagine our brain as a computer RAM processing information temporarily. If we overload it with too much data, efficiency drops. For instance, students cramming for exams often face.
That's a relatable analogy. However, skeptics argue that with practice, one can increase their cognitive boundaries. What does current research say?
While practice can optimize performance, the fundamental limits of working memory remain unchanged. A study in the Journal of Educational Psychology found practice helps in managing known data, but
Looking ahead, how can educators apply this theory to improve teaching methods?
teachers are now chunking information into bite-sized lessons, allowing for natural memory consolidation. For example, integrating multimedia resources gradually can enhance retention without.
Active learning has gained traction. Could you describe how it's revolutionizing traditional education, Dr. Lee?
Active learning involves engaging students in problem-solving rather than passive listening. Consider the flipped classroom model where textbook reading is homework while in-class time is reserved for.
Critics mention that not all subjects lend themselves to active learning, particularly foundational knowledge-heavy courses. Is there a balance to be struck?
Absolutely, balancing is key. Certain subjects like math can use active components such as real-world problem applications while maintaining necessary lecture components. Additionally, a 2022 study demonstrated.
What future developments do you foresee in active learning techniques?
Interactive technology integration like virtual reality presents new possibilities. They're experimenting with VR to create immersive experiences in history classes, for instance, which drastically changes.
The concept of spaced repetition isn't new, but how does it functionally enhance memory retention, Dr. Kim?
Spaced repetition leverages the forgetting curve by introducing information at expanding intervals. It's akin to how athletes incorporate rest into training, thereby reinforcing.
Yet, some experts argue that not all learning benefits from this method, especially dynamic skills. How justified is this criticism?
Dynamic skills require contextual practice which spaced repetition can't provide alone. However, coupling it with adaptable learning approaches where context is reintroduced periodically overcomes.
How is technology contributing to the advancement of spaced repetition learning?
Innovative apps like Anki apply algorithms that tailor intervals to user performance. Looking forward, integrating AI for personalized learning paths will further refine.
Blended learning combines online and offline methods. Prof. Garcia, could you share a real-life example where this increased learning efficiency?
In a Californian high school, incorporating blended learning in science classes led to a 30% improvement in standard test scores. Students accessed online simulations at home, making classroom sessions.
However, access and equity remain concerns, especially in rural areas with limited internet. How is the education sector addressing these challenges?
Rural initiatives are setting up community-based digital hubs providing internet access. Moreover, outdated offline content like DVDs are being reintroduced for tech-limited schools to maintain. I foresee an expansive use of augmented reality to simulate lab environments, making content accessible remotely. This could revolutionize educational inclusivity, especially for subjects currently constrained by